Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the sound system demo on the 2023 Kia Sportage and its 8-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio adjustments, controls, inputs, speaker locations, Apple CarPlay, but no Android Auto because you don't have the right cable. I'll tell you about that later. Then we're going to listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling. I'll give you my thoughts at the end. If you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning, you just want to hear the music, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the tunes. And if you're tired of hearing the same songs week in and week out, sign up to become a Daily Motor member. There you can hear member-only requested tracks and help support the channel. So if you're interested, check the links in the description. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. I'm actually recording this inside because the wind was awful out there. But all new for 2023, the Kia Sportage. Coming in, competing against things like the RAV4, CR-V, Hyundai Tucson. This car has a lot of aggressive styling and it's actually pretty darn smooth to drive. That's just about all the features you're going to want. So if you do want to see more on our first drive of the Kia Sportage, check the links in the description. We've got some off-roading coverage, some first drive coverage, and of course, once we get it back at DMHQ, we'll do our highway fuel economy testing and a DM test drive. And we always do this test with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults. Let's take a look at those now. Pretty standard Kia infotainment system, although with this top SX Prestige model, you're getting the largest screen, and it's built nicely into the dash here. We are in the media screen, so let's go here and to sound settings. First one, you've got premium sound, which all that does is give you a speed-dependent volume control adjustment. And let's actually go down here. Where's the, the system audio settings weren't zeroed out for this one. You have your standard front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. On down to tone, you've got treble, mid-range, and bass. Let's go through those now. That's about all you get for audio adjustments, no sort of surround setting or anything like that. For audio controls, you have a volume knob here, but what's interesting is it's not always a volume knob. Right now it's adjusting volume, clearly, but if you tap this button here to bring up your climate control, then this is now a climate control knob rather than volume. So you gotta click this little area to get back to the audio settings, and then you got a volume knob. You do also have volume on the left side of the steering wheel here with a rocker. For track selection, again, if you have this media screen up, you've got seek and track buttons there. You can use the rotary knob if it's on the right menu, or you can use the left side of the steering wheel, or obviously if you're on the media screen, you can use the touch screen. Audio inputs here in the new Sportage. You have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. Let's bring up our media sources here. Bluetooth, USB-A, no USB-C port. This is a port here, but it's not for data. It's just for power source. And you've got wired Android Auto and wired Apple CarPlay. No wireless in the top trims. If you have the base model with the more simple 8-inch touchscreen, then you can get wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but not in this one. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, like I said, no USB-C data port and no wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, and no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, and no sort of streaming, so no Spotify built in or anything like that. So missing a few of the things, but not the end of the world for most people. I'm just going to do Bluetooth at the end of the day. Speaker locations. As I said, this is an 8-speaker system. Starting in the bottom left, you've got door woofer there, 1, tweeter 2, center 3, 4, 5 over there. And if you come into the back, you've got 6 woofer there, 7 over there. And then opening up the trunk here, you've got a subwoofer laying right in the side. That's giving you 8. So for our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto demo, unfortunately we're only going to be able to do CarPlay because I only have a USB-C to USB-C port, and because the Sportage, even though it's a 2023 car, can only do power from its USB-C, I'm going to have to stop the music, free up our one port here, and I can only plug in my USB-A to lightning cable. So you're gonna have to use your imagination with Android Auto, but let's at least do CarPlay. We'll be plugging it in the first time here and see how it runs. Immediately prompted on the screen and on my phone. Remarkably easy process for Apple CarPlay. You can see literally no cuts in the video. That's how quickly it came up, and taking up the entire screen. It looks great there. You can see let's go over to settings. Good refresh rate, not the highest resolution, but still looks pretty crisp. There's your Apple, or rather Amazon Music, Google Maps. Yeah, everything looking really good and crisp with that refresh rate. All right, well, let's get this stuff put away and get the music going again, get out on the road. So I actually tracked down a different cable and a different Sportage to show you Android Auto. A quick side note before I do, I want to show you all that I've checked out the phone projection settings here. In fact, I just unplug the cable and show you. There's use split screen on Android Auto screen. That is disabled right now. So it should, in theory, be giving me full screen Android Auto, but it isn't. And you'll see here. Go to Android Auto. There it is. I mean, it's still a good size and good aspect ratio, but we're not getting the full Android Auto widescreen experience. But there's your Google Maps. It's not going to load right now because I am remote, if you will, but there's YouTube Music. Looks like the resolution still about the same. Refresh rate, not as good as CarPlay, but there's your home screen right there. Let's go to settings. And there you have it. highs in the system, and I'm liking the lows. I'm liking the power from the deep, more bass lows. What I'm not liking in the system is what I would call a sloppy mid-range, and sloppy and hollow are the two words that keep coming to me when listening to it. It's a very front-focused system, so you're getting a lot of sound from a mixture of these tweeters and the center speaker. And in a song like this, what it's resulting in is it makes the song feel weak. I'm not getting that driving bass guitar and bass drum. I'm getting a lot of the upper guitar. I'm getting a lot of the cymbals, but that isn't the element of the music that moves you. That's kind of more flourish. You need the strong, satisfying meat and potatoes of your music coming through. So if you're listening to something simpler, if you're listening to some Sirius XM, rhythm and bass type music, it's going to sound pretty good. Once you're moving here on the highway, you got the road noise interference, and you're dealing with more complex music, a lot of the elements of the songs that you like to listen to are going to get drowned out by the fact that the bass is more focused on low tunes. And I actually spoke with one of the engineers on this sound system from Harman, and he said there was a conscious effort made by Kia and Harman. I don't know, it was probably more Kia than Harman, if I read on things correctly, but they wanted it to be so that people could turn the bass up and not have distortion and still have a satisfying bass sound for those lower bass hits. And I get where they're coming from. We're going to test that out here in a minute with our bass track. But for me, someone who prefers to have flat EQ and hear all the elements of my music come through equally, I'm getting a similar sensation in this car that I was to the BMW 3 Series from 2021 or so, where a lot of hollowness coming through, and it made me really want to drop the mid-range down, which fortunately there is a mid-range adjustment, and I can do that. So as I said, for this next song, we're going to turn the bass all the way up and see what happens. So you can hear it pretty crisp, pretty solid. You're getting those really high upper ranges songs, and then we're going to bring in the bass. So it's focusing more of the bass from the subwoofer rather than these door woofers. And it is a pretty crisp sound. I think it does a good job with that. Not exactly, I'm not feeling it in my chest, but I am getting some mirror shakeage. Not bad. It does stay pretty composed. Very crisp from those sounds coming through the tweeters. My thoughts on the 8-speaker Harman Kardon sound system here in the 2023 Kia Sportage. What you're going to notice if you listen to this sound system, if you own this car, buy it, whatever, test it out, Some songs are going to sound really, really good, and you're really going to like it. Other songs, especially if they're songs you listen to regularly, you're going to notice elements of your music missing, and it's going to drive you nuts. So, audiophiles, you're going to be a bit disappointed by this one. However, I think for the price point of this vehicle compared to others in its class, I do think it's pretty strong. I think it's right up there with the JBL and the RAV4, the, what do we have? Is it the Bose and the Tucson? It's definitely going to be better than the CR-V. So, overall, I'm giving it about a B-. It's just barely squeaking in there with the B rating. I do think the crispness of the upper sounds and kind of coming into the higher mid-ranges and then that low bass do warrant it enough to be above an average system. And I think lower end listening, you're going to be pretty happy. It's just when you really crank that music up, you're probably going to have to drop that mid-range down, again, because of some of the conscious decisions that Kia decided to make with this sound system. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Sportage, we're going to have our first drive review coming out here pretty soon. Like I said, some off-road footage and, of course, all this stuff when we get it back at DMHQ. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.